walk on through the slides. So I've just sorted this around some 10 to 100%. So we might have it for a hour or so. So starting from what is the social self, social life, digital media, like everyone is comfortable with knowing about Instagram, WhatsApp, and other social medias. But what is the difference? We'll be just quickly knowing about what's the difference between having a habit, right? Habit of doing something. And second part is getting addicted to something, right? That's going to be the complete coverage of today's session. And in between, we'll be discussing of some of the cases which we are handled that might support as evidences for the discussions. Yeah. So as Sir gave an intro, right? I have my MTech in cybersecurity, doing my PhD in digital forensics. So I was into academics for the past 10 years, working for some of the prestigious government projects with ISRO, DRDO, and Kalam SAS initiatives. Currently, last year I came out and then I initiated our own startup called Kriya One. Kriya is something doing your duty, right? So we have a couple of verticals. One is on digital forensic investigation, right? Cybercrime related investigation, supporting to handle evidences, manage reports, and on. Second vertical is on cybersecurity training, starting from school, college, LEAs across the globe. We just train them. So these two are the verticals of Kriya One. We are a Startup India initiative startup from Madurai. And to know more about me, you'll be able to see the profile in my personal page. My full name is Ashok Kumar Mohan. You'll be able to find it in akmohan.in. So that is my personal website. You can find a complete profile about me, my achievements, and other co-curricular activities here in my personal page. Yeah, as I was mentioning, that I was into academics. Currently, I'm managing our Kriya One Cyber Forensic Services. Okay, quickly without wasting any time, we'll just get on to the session. So what we see here, we can have this session to be interactive. I hope the chat box is open, right? At any point of time, you have any questions, queries, you want to share something, something is missing, right? You can just very well put in the chat box or raise your hand. We'll answer for that. Right? So what you see here on the screen is typically a SWOT on the left side. Everyone knows, right? And sometimes you see here on that something on the right side of the screen, right? Some of us, very few of us might have seen this one. So it's a traditional SWOT which we have seen in movies. Someone might have just got a chance to view or touch and feel, right? So, but this one you see here, this is also a SWOT used age old, right? So this is typically a double-edged SWOT. As you see here on the center portion, right? Center portion of the handle, you'll be holding it, and then you'll be playing the SWOT. And this is capable of inflicting double the amount of damage for the individual whom you are just attacking. And it's going to be vice versa also. That's what it's called as a double-edged SWOT, right? Currently, whatever we use, right? So why we are comparing a traditional SWOT and double-edged SWOT here is, right? Currently, whatever we are using or knowing about on the internet is typically all about playing a double-edged SWOT. We have quite a good number of advantages. We know the evolvement of internet because I've been into this domain for the past 10-15 years. I remember when I started learning in 2000, 2005. Very rarely we'll have a browsing center. We'll go, we'll just start using the internet. But nowadays, everything comes in a fingertip, right? Using a mobile, we do whole of the steps. Evolution of mobile, evolution of mobile, evolution of internet, evolution of technologies. Nowadays, we are hearing about fascinating technologies like blockchains, AI, neural networks, right? Image processing, virtual reality, and on and on. So we'll see it step by step. So as the theme goes, we have split it into 4 or 5 phases. We'll be gradually learning about like 10%, 30%, 50%, and up to 90% of what is this social shelf, typically with respect to digital media and social media. Right? Yeah, the beginning, social media habituation. As I said, that's the main difference between having a habit and getting addicted. Taking a coffee in the morning is a habit, fine, well and good. One fine day you go out of town, you miss the coffee, no problem. Your daily routine goes well and good. But if that is going to be an addiction, if you don't have the coffee that day, right, the whole of the day works are going to get affected, right? So that's what the digital medias and social medias are also currently influencing on us. You can see the quote at the bottom, right? Social media is no more a luxury; it has become a necessity, and we can't deny it. It's a matter of fact, right? So previously, like you see, like 5 to 7 years ago, only school kids, college kids, or someone who are not having a job used to come and revolve in and around social media, starting from Orkut, Facebook, and down. Nowadays, that have become a center of attraction for business also. You see, many of them are doing their business, making it productive using Instagram and WhatsApp, right? And also social media satisfies a variety of human emotions. Eventually they are successful. We'll see some bits and pieces why this social media is successful. We know, right? So how there were something called as a telephone, something called as a TV was there, something as an internet was there. Each one of them took some time. You say like some took like 5 years, some took like 2 years, some took like 1 year to gain the familiarity. How this internet and social media gain familiarity among youths, right? Typically Indian masses, right? We'll be seeing some bits and pieces of references. Before that, a typical definition of a social self, right? It's a complex analysis of self-concept based, typically the social nature of the self. Normally, we talk about socializing, right? I stay in a place, I know my neighbors, I know my city, I know someone who is in and around, right? We get communicated, we speak with them, we exchange something with them. But current day, everything is happening on the internet, right? We have quite a good number of friends. Let's say in my contacts, I have 4,000 friends. I might know like something like 500 to 600, roughly around 10-20% of them individually. Others or most of them might be virtual friends or else friends, those who are not physically near me, right? So that is on the social self part. And social media addiction, a traditional definition of an addiction, right? It's a brain disease that is manifested by a compulsive substance used despite of harmful consequences. Previously, we talked about tobacco awareness, drug awareness. Nowadays, there are times even we are delivering quite a good number of lectures for college students, corporate employees, specifically for digital detox, right? How to just use that internet, digital gadgets in the right way on a limited phase. We'll be seeing that before the end of this session, talking about digital detox and some bits and pieces. During lockdown, you see here the founder of TikTok, this guy, he gave an open statement saying that, hey, I just created this TikTok for people, those who don't have a job, right? Those who just want to entertain, those who just want to, in layman terms, if you say someone who wants to waste their time. Right? But you see, he gave a statistic saying that most of his TikTok users were from India. And even though TikTok is banned in India, right? We have quite a good number of similar social media apps which are eating our time. At an average, if we say like, for example, let's take like every day we are just spending around some 8 to 10 hours of active session. You know, in your mobile, right? Just by locking, unlocking, viewing your notification, bare minimal and individual is using not less than 45 minutes. You have your mobile. At the end of the day, you might have used minimum 45 minutes to 1 hour on your mobile. It can be locking, unlocking, speaking to someone, viewing a YouTube video, right? Keeping that active. Keeping mobile active in the sense we are investing our time. That 1 hour, whichever you're putting on the mobile or the gadgets, right? We are just using it for that purpose. And you see here, Facebook also had some recent surveys in which they manipulate the users, you know, right? For example, Facebook, nowadays we are just so good with the Instagram, right? So we just start scrolling it, right? We just start scrolling it down. One fine moment, it will say, hey, stop, it is done, right? So whatever new feeds that are available for you, we have shown to you. What we will do, we won't go back. What we'll do, we'll refresh again, right? That is called refresh to down syndrome. We refresh again. We might have been watching this for the past 10-20 minutes. Whatever new feeds came on the last 10-20 minutes will come again. This is going to be an endless story, right? See, when you see today is an election, right? Most of us might have just gone to vote and be back. We might be having our mobile gadgets and scrolling, right? So that's common. This is a statement by Facebook on social medias. And why this happens, right? Technically speaking or psychologically speaking, right? So there is something called dopamine, right? So which is secreted in human, right? So dopamine effect. Someone appreciates you, we feel happy, right? Someone gives a reward, we feel so happy, right? So nowadays these rewards are being like, shares, and views, right? So I know a good friend of mine, right? He's into industry, he's a senior network security engineer, right? But till even now, right? He calls me some days and say, hey, Machan, just give me a like. My post have gone 99 likes. I'm running short of one like. You give me a like, it will become 100. So not only school kids or college kids, even young adults, right? Those who are working, those who are into industry, senior professionals, right? So they are having this sort of dopamine reward loop. And everything happens for attention, emotion, decision making, right? So whatever we do with the normal social, you have someone sitting in a room, 5 or 10 are speaking, right? So everyone knows the other individual, you know the emotional quotient of others, what to speak and what not to speak, we'll just manage it. But nowadays you see like in this session, you'll say like some 100,000 of individuals are connected here, right? So everything is connected virtually, and then all these things, grabbing an attention, having someone emotional quotients, decision making, right? Everything is just connected with internet, gadgets, and social medias nowadays. and some of the surveys by leading news websites, right? So after Corona, 87% there's an increase in usage of social media, fine. Usage of joystick, you see like some of the games like PUBG, other things has been banned by government. I still see like in my locality, Madurai, I stay in Madurai in Tamil Nadu, right? So some kids, those when I just walk by, right? So 5 or 6 kids sit together and they have a mobile. I pass by that side, I come after 2 hours, they sit on the same place with the same position, right? So that's happening on gaming addiction with kids. So all these social media addictions, right? There are some side effects, starting with disrupted sleep, FOMO. We'll see what is FOMO, right? Sedentary life. We have seen some memes, right? You see a guy sitting on the top bottom left corner, right? He looks something like a fatty guy, and the laptop size is thin. What it is, TVs were so thicker, right? Bigger one, and we were on the normal shape, right? And all these things, sleep disrupt, FOMO, sedentary life, dopamine spikes, everything are going to be the part of or side effects of social media addiction. As I said, if it's a habitat, not any problem. If it becomes an addiction, it will create a problem. So maybe in the upcoming slides, we'll see like how to just evaluate. So we cannot go randomly and advise to our kids saying that, hey, just don't do this, right? It's going to be an addiction. They'll revert saying that, hey, dad and mom, you check like whether you are addicted or habituated. So initially we can do a self-check, just like we have a list of 10 questions, answering them genuinely. We get 7 out of 10 saying that you are on the safer side. If you are getting like 10 out of 10 or even better, right? So we'll be saying that there is a possibility of getting addicted for that practice. So you have seen the beginning, what exactly the social media, how it looks like. So the no return, the only way is up. I still remember some of my college mates, right, 10, 12 years before, they used to say, hey, I'm just studying mechanical engineering, civil engineering. I don't want to touch a computer in my lifetime. I still know them, right? So they're running civil construction companies. They're using mobile, they are using internet, they are using every gadgets and every software and applications, right? So there is no return, no way. The only way is up. Up in the sense getting addicted, getting habituated and getting onto the flow, right? So we need to use mobile, we need to use internet, we are bound to use social medias, right? I know some of the traditional professors, right? Those who used to teach me to me and those who are working with me, they say, hey, I'm not going to touch Instagram, or I'm not going to touch WhatsApp. I'm not going to come into WhatsApp. But lockdown changed it upside down, right? Because most of the assignments, tasks, everything was given in WhatsApp and everything was managed virtually in WhatsApp. So we'll see the causes, right? I've just sorted out some of the causes of this social media addiction. Sorry. Yeah. Before getting on to the causes, we'll see the generation, right? Some of us might be in Generation X, 1965 to 80, Millennial generation, 81 to 95, and Gen Z, the current day kids, right? 96 to 2010. And you see here, millennial kids, right? Born somewhere around 1980. I hope I'm one among that, right? So, and we know there were something called as a old telephone. There was a TV somewhere in 2000 Gen Y. The mobile phones came. Then social media slowly came. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and on. You see, currently there were like 2.5 billion population worldwide are in this millennial generation, right? So most of them are just knowing about TV, telephone, mobile phones, Androids, now internet with social medias and other technologies. Okay. So we do some R&Ds, as sir was mentioning, right? I was a part of academics. We do some R&Ds on identifying some sort of attacks, not only generic attacks. We talk about something has been hacked, some accounts has been taken over, right? Traditional cyber attacks. We discuss something on this social engineering related attacks also. How an individual knows about others. You see, let's say you are in a family. What your husband or wife or kids know about your system, knowing your password, knowing your PIN, knowing your login details, and all those sort of things. So based upon that R&D, we have just sorted out some three specific reasons why this social media addiction is so predominant in across the globe and most commonly in Indian scenario, whichever we are just talking here, right? The first cause is typically not you and me. They are the human brains behind the design of the social media apps. Right? The founder of Facebook, founder of Instagram, and different applications, right? So to attract the users, they create something called slot machine effect, pull to refresh effect, infinite scrolling effect. That's what I was saying in the examples, right? So they create their apps, they make people engage, right? So right, we are not paying for Insta, we are not paying for Facebook, we are not paying for even free Gmail accounts. But you say like how they are making money, right? So every like, every share, everything which we do on the internet, everything which we just put there are our contributions. Fine. So that is going to be the first cause, the masterminds behind the creation of the apps, or those who own the apps or the whole environment. Second is anxiety, depression, lack of discipline. Generally, whatever a human has, right? Has an anxiety, has a depression, lack of discipline. Sometimes someone might be isolated, someone might not mingle with the other friends. That's what we are seeing in today's kids, right? So even after like 6 months, 1 year of going on to school, the kid doesn't know all the other kids' names, right? Because they are just so into the social medias, they have very limited circle. Out of 60 individuals, they just friend only 5 or 10 or very limited, right? So second cause is typically human behavior. Fine. Third cause is going to be the use and availability of internet and web technology. We go back 20 years before, how was internet? How was the web technology? Current day, how is internet and how the web technology and other technologies also. We'll be talking about AI, we'll be talking about neural networks, we'll be talking something on the virtual reality, right? All these things, how they are influencing individuals. Fine. So this is a comparison. I'll skip some of these comparison slides. Yeah. So we'll start with the case study. I'm just hooking up one of the recent case studies, right? Which was a case that have been reported, right? Role of AI in morphing. We might have seen, right? We might have seen quite a good number of examples saying that here there's a morphed photo. So that's a morphed video, fine. So what they do, right? AI morphing technology might be used. That was the class which was used 10 years before. But current day, we are saying AI morphing technology is used to manipulate existing photos, videos, and whatever it may be. We have taken one sample case, which we are just dealing with some of our local law enforcement, right? So Sari challenge on Instagram. We might have seen, right? So mostly those who are here, even women, those who are attending, right? We might have seen something called as a Sari challenge. Right? You need to take a Sari, right? Put some 3 to 5 photos in different poses, and then there will be some rewards given. There may be a gift voucher, some coupons, or some sort of recognition saying that, hey, you are the topper in your city or state or something like that. This is how it started, the Sari challenge. Someone has to acquire an image. They'll get the sample images from your profiles. They morph and manipulate and create a fake profile. You see here in this example, right? So this individual, this lady, right? She just had a Sari challenge. As you can see here in this example, she posted somewhere around 5 photos. 5 photos on Instagram saying that, hey, for this Sari challenge, I'm contributing 5 photos. The same Sari with some 5 different photos. This was a genuine original photo from her original profile. And second photo, a random photo clicked before her house, right? She have clicked some photos. Let's say they have just gathered something around 10 photos. She had her profile limited, but the problem was she had the profile public before this happened, right? So the 10 photos were visible to anyone viewing her profile. Searching and finding her profile, the 5 Sari challenge photos and 5 random photos was publicly available to anyone viewing the profile, right? And we see these sort of fake profiles created, right? Mostly that will be targeting celebrities, right? Celebrities, something like movie professionals, something like cricketers, something like local celebrities. That's how it happens. See, this case which we are dealing is like, she's not a celebrity. She's typically a college student. Only very few individuals from the college know about her, right? Let's say like some 100 to 200 individuals know about her. So with these two set of photos, you see here, this real photos that were available in the left side, a complete profile, right? Fake profile, you see the number of posts, 146 posts, 4,000 followers and 120 following. You see here, Sari challenge individuals, all these photos. So you see 100% morphed photos that has been created. And then there are very few photos had some visual similarity. You see, we can identify saying that some photos we can say like this is not the actual photo. But all other photos were good looking, something like near to reality, the photos were there, right? So this is how it starts. So one most common thing which is happening now is in these social medias are these sort of things. So as I said, right, it's not going to target celebrities. Any random users, it can be targeted. And they have spent some $10 to $20 on creating this fake photos. They have given some 10 photos. They have paid some $20 to some websites online, and they have got somewhere around 1,000 photos in different shapes, size, and different events like this. They have got some 1,000 photos. Not only Instagram, in terms of gathering user details and statistics. Even Google, some sort of apps which we use, right? Everyone is monitoring us. You can see here in this example, this is one of my colleague who was working with me, fine. And she regularly used to travel from college to a location and from that location to her home place. So you see here in this specific screenshot, so that bus, it's written in Tamil, let me translate, 9 minutes, right? 9 minutes for that bus to depart on that specific day of 14th August, right? Somewhere at evening at 8 p.m., right? So she was standing in the bus stand, sorry, morning at 8 a.m., right? She was standing in the bus stand to get to the college, right? It clearly said, hey, your bus will be coming in exactly in 9 minutes. You see, like how our gadgets, not only your individual mobiles, your Google, your any of the apps which we are installed, how they are monitoring us, right? Okay, skip some of these slides. So we need to know about the app management when you are talking about the social medias. It can be a generic app, it can be an inbuilt app in your mobile, or it can be a third-party app. We need to know what permission we are giving. Roughly, we did a survey in which like every individual mobile will have somewhere around 100 to 150 apps installed. Out of these 150 apps, you talk about bare minimal some 10%, roughly around like 15 to 20 apps have SMS permission. We have seen quite a good number of cases related to OTP frauds and on, right? If 15 apps are having SMS permission, literally speaking, the apps are capable of sending an SMS, receiving an SMS, and then whatever they can do, they'll be able to do with the SMS which you are getting it. We might have even noticed it. When we install an app, right, waiting for OTP, before the OTP comes in the SMS, 2-3 seconds before, it will be autofill in your app. The scenario is the app is capable of grasping the SMS even before it is delivered visually to the end user. Fine. Yeah. And you see here, like some examples. I've taken one of the app which was older one. Now they have patched it. See, what's the need for a food delivery app to give permissions for camera? Location is fine. What is the need for a food delivery app to give a camera permission? Fine. So if there might be a need, if you are uploading a complaint, they'll ask you to take a photo and upload. But whenever there is a needed, the permission can be enabled. At all other times, the permission has to be kept disabled. Even current day Android like 12, 13, they're coming up with a feature saying that if you're not using an app for a while, let's say 3 months or 6 months, the permissions will be automatically revoked. Fine. So that is on the security part with Android and Google is giving. So the only way is up, getting habituated, getting to know about the technology, getting it to use and going on. We cannot say like, I'm not going to use internet, I'm not going to use the technologies, right? We need to use it on the right way, on the right path. So this SARI challenges, I've just given one example case. We have quite a good number of cases that have been reported and taken into considerations, and quite mammoth amount of cases that have not yet been reported. Only they speak in oral terms. They call us and say, sir, something like this happened. When we ask them to file a complaint, he said, like, sir, no, don't want, I'll just close the profile and I'll just go out of the social media. So that's on the second part. Now we'll get on to dream big, make it happen, right? Let's check, as I said, whether we are just getting into social media, habituated to something, or we are getting on the second part. Yeah, just a minute. Yeah, whether we are getting habituated to social media or getting addicted to social media. We'll just quickly start with the self-test. Even current day, we have just started doing from our startup. We have started doing this for corporates and colleges and even working groups, right? So if you want to take a self-test and other things, we at the end of the session, we'll be sharing our details, right? Symptoms, right? You see here, social media addiction. See, when you see, you can just make a note. We will see some 10 to 15 points now. Just put an yes or no in your mind or put it in a paper. After we complete this, you check like how much mark you have got. Be genuine. You're going to do it only for yourself. Whether if you're getting 3 out of 10, well and good. 5 out of 10, okay, average. If you're getting 7 out of 10, that is something on alarming. We'll read it one by one. The first thing you do in the morning is checking your social media. You know, right? When we wake up in our house, there will be a bigger clock, which will be clearly visible saying that, hey, it is 6 a.m. But we will just take our mobile to see the time. The scenario is like, psychological fact is like, we are not seeing the time. We are just taking it to see the notification. What all the messages, pop-ups that have been received, right? So that is on the first thing. And some people I know, even some of my close people, right? They cannot go to washroom without their phone, right? We overanalyze image to post. All the days when we take a photo, we just post it. Nowadays, you see here, Instagram and other social medias, right? Everything. Yeah. Am I audible?
You are audible. Please go ahead, sir. I think one of the sir was telling like low voice. I was just
Got
telling
it, got
you.
it.
Please go ahead.
Got it, sir. Yeah. See, we overanalyze the image. Even see when we take a photo, right? So we'll put it on older days. I remember 10 years ago or 15 years ago when we are using Orkut, we take a photo and just like that we'll put it. Maybe not even HD camera and we'll put it like that. But nowadays you see people used to take photo, they used to put filters, they used to put some sort of beautification, right? Even the cameras, which I remember, like I've changed it 2 or 3 mobiles in the past 5, 6 years. When I take a photo of myself, I don't believe it. Hey, I'm just so fair, right? The camera has an inbuilt AI apps which shows individuals. When I take a photo with my wife, right? Only for her it puts her lipstick, right? Even it's able to predict the gender based upon who's standing on the photos or not. Right? So we overanalyze the images before we put it on social media or share it with someone. And the last part, as I said, one of my friend used to do. We feel angry when nobody comments on our post. We put a post saying that, hey, I got a graduation degree, only 5, 10 likes, you won't be feeling happy. You put a post saying that you're just doing something to others, even it may be abusive, you get 100 or 1,000 likes. It brings some dopamine effect, right? As we saw on the previous slides. You become restless if you are unable to use social media, right? You see, like today is, let's take like now we are going to end the session in half an hour or 1 hour, 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. Till dinner, if you are able to just keep your mobile aside, unless and always you attend a call. If you're not able to, if you are not taking the mobile and if you are just being relaxed, you are being normal, then that's a good symptom, right? People used to become restless when they are not able to use social medias. When I talk about social media, it is not only social media and or internet. It takes internet fact also. And we see like many cases in schools, colleges, even in bigger crime related cases, right? When we start investigating, speaking with them, right? They used to say, hey, I just got onto social media to forget my personal problems. It may be something related to the family, something related to finance, something related to individuals or community, right? So that's what is the common excuse they give or common reason they give, saying that, hey, I came into social media just to, just a minute.
Sir, you please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. We'll continue. Yeah. So the fourth point here is something having a negative impact on our job or studies, right? So this is common, right? So you know, right? Maybe before the day before the exam, how much time we spend, or every day we spend like 1 or 2 hours on the social medias, mobiles, and gadgets. The same amount of time students, kids used to spend the day before the exam, right? So they have their gadgets, or else when we force them to study in the evening, after studying, they'll just spend 1 or 2 hours on the social media gadgets and then they go late to bed, right? And final thing is having a negative impact on relationships. Currently, we are facing quite a good number of post-marital related cases in which lame excuses they say, like, hey, my husband is not allowing me to see his Facebook post. My wife is not giving her Instagram private password of the app password, right? So does it have a negative impact on your relationship? It can be between father and mother. It can be between father and kids. It can be husband and wife and on. Right? So these are the yes or no questions which we need to answer genuinely to ourselves. Then we can just spread awareness to community, saying that make it as a questionnaire. Even we have this as a questionnaire in our Google Forms, right? Just ask them to answer it. Say this, check the score. 3 out of 10, it's well and good. 5 out of 10, it's an average. If it goes 7 out of 10 or even greater, that's going to create a problem. Fine. So spending lots of time, feeling of urge, forgetting personal problems, trying to reduce the use of social media without success, restless, negative impact, and on, right? So all these things are going to be the generic benchmarks. Fine. So why this happens? Need for validation. As I said, someone is in need of like, share, and follow. Just like we were in need of shelter, food, and some sort of a job, right? So current day, we are in an environment, an ecosystem in which we are badly in need of like, share, and follow. And second thing, we are discussing about this FOMO in some of the slides we saw, FOMO. If I ask you a question now, hey, where's your mobile? If you're not attending this session in a mobile, if you're attending via laptop, there may be a slight heartbeat increase, right? So you might be searching, hey, where's my mobile, right? So that is something called FOMO, fear of missing out. Older days, we fear of missing out children's, we fear of missing out something like a parcel or a bag or something. Current day, FOMO is most common in gadgets, mobiles, right? So when you are not able to see your mobile for a while, right? Obviously, you become restless and quite a good number of psychological effects, negative impact comes onto the individual. And you see here, like most of these social medias, gadgets, specifically internet, right? They were used to, right, get individuals. You see, someone is feeling in low in a mood. You see here this image which was put here, right? A teenage girl. See the number of tags: fat, sad, alone, ugly. All these tags are put by someone else on her, right? You see what is happy, that is lying down, right? See, when you remember, like someone is thin, someone is dark, someone comments on them, hey, you are thin, you are dark, no problem, right? I'm thin, I'm dark, right? That's my nature, right? So you're not getting a like or share, right? That creates a greater impact on individuals. So someone is feeling low in mood, they get onto social media, they get habituated to n number of abusive products, right? You know, right? We face some cases in which parents are only aware of normal browsers. We know about Google Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer. Sometimes we talk about private browsing. But a kid of like 12, 15 years is very good at knowing about dark web, getting to know and buying something on the dark web, something like this, right? So that is the adverse effects of social medias. You see, we have just sorted out some top 10 signs and symptoms, right? Whichever you have just sorted out earlier, right? So you have just fine-tuned that. So for this top 10 questions, if you're able to say yes or no, and if you're able to evaluate yourself, right, we'll be clearly able to know like how it can happen. And this is going to be the traditional method which we use in pen and papers. There are some app-based methods. I'll just list you some of the publicly available apps in which we can monitor like how many times I've unlocked my mobile today, how much hours I have spent on Instagram or YouTube, how to reduce that, right? Sometimes the apps give you some sort of lock. You put a lock for 15 minutes for YouTube. If you're continuously watching YouTube for 15 minutes, right, then it will just give a warning saying that a pop-up will come and say like, hey, you're watching YouTube for 15 or 30 minutes, you give a break. So that is on the third part. We have seen what is happening, right? So we cannot go out of that, right? So what exactly is going on here? And teamwork, right? So you see, like finding a partner to identify something. Older days, you see, like when we start playing games and on, right? We know like we have a partner, maybe a friend or someone who used to come up with together and play with us. Nowadays, you see like games whichever kids are playing online, they get partners from different countries. Even the countries which they are not able to name, like different countries on different origins, they have friends who are playing games together. Right? So we see one sample case study here before getting on to that. Experiencing less satisfaction and less happiness. That's one factor that's influencing. It can promote jealous. Older age, you see like a kid is having a different size pencil or a sharpener that might bring jealous. Nowadays, having quite a good number of likes and shares are bringing jealous among friends. And if you see closely in this set of smileys, all these smileys are going to inflict negative impact. All these smileys are negative impact bringing in smileys. See, none of the smileys are smiling, on all these are going to have a negative impact. When we get this something like this, when we see something like this, obviously there will be a psychological impact and saying that hey, something is wrong or we are doing something wrong, right? So we are not recommended to use these sort of things. Even you see like in my most of the smileys which I sent, these sort of negative smileys I would have just put it at the bottom. Even if for there's a need for a smiley, right? For even for fun and profit, right? You don't do on this putting a smiley like which is having a teardrop and other things that leave a psychological effect on the other person who is viewing. Distraction and drop in productivity, obviously it happens for kids, those who study, for individuals, those who work, for higher order organization individuals, even they are bringing on to their production to down. Boys, right? So we take a sample case which was like some years ago in Delhi, right? So there was a group called Boys Locker. Some of you might have heard of this Instagram group created by a set of school childrens. Fine. What was there in the group? They were just getting the photos. I showed the Sari challenge example, right? Same way they are getting the photos of their classmates. Let's say they were like high school kids of 8th and 10th grade. They were getting the photos of the 8th grade girls, 10th grade girls, even greater like 11th and 12th grade girls of their school and putting onto their common group saying that, hey, I saw her photo today. She uploaded a new photo on Instagram. And they started ranking it. They started commenting on it. The comments went in different languages and different origins. And you see here, something on the left and something on the right. Left is a real one, right is a fake one. As we saw in the previous examples, it's easy for an individual to create an exactly good looking fake image of an individual. So the only way is, right? So whenever you use your social medias, Facebook, Instagram, or these sort of common social medias, keeping your profile private, enabling two-factor authentication, right? And then monitoring it regularly. When I go for college session, when I'll ask them a random question, hey, how many of you don't have an Instagram or a Facebook profile? Very few used to raise their hands. We'll give them a comment saying that, hey, today you go and check. You don't want to create a new account, but go and check, right? Is there any profile is active in your name? Because some cases which you are handling, we know, like if you want to create any of these social media accounts, the bare minimal needed is email ID and a mobile OTP. Now we can come on and say, like, how many of our friends, family members knows our email passwords or mobile unlocks? They can get an OTP and create or have a social media account in our name. If someone wants to commit a crime, right? Yeah, it's well and good if you are not using Insta and stopped using Facebook. Sounds good, right? But once in a while, even if you're not directly going in, you just go and search for your name and get it. The profile which I showed, right? She had some problems and she closed her Facebook, Instagram account. She was not using it, but they created a new account and you see it had like some 1,500 followers. Then they started messaging their followers saying that, hey, there's an online trading platform available, showing some fake screenshots saying that, hey, I've got some 1,500 rupees in one day, and start befriending them and making money. Yeah. Yeah, this was about boys locker room. After investigation, right, I remember like there was a side effect of this. You see this boy who's in that vicinity, right, in the same school vicinity or things. This guy is nowhere aware of that boys locker group, but his friends started trolling them, right, saying that, hey, you are a part of that group, you are the admin, you know something, right? So because of that, this boy was forced to commit a suicide. He was no way connected to the app, right? But because of his friends teasing him on social media and teasing him on their common gathering, right, he was forced to commit a suicide. Who's missing? At the top right corner, we see something, right? That's not only boys' locker room, girls' locker room also exists. So when they started investigating, a similar group which was created by girls, school kids, and they are just putting the photos of their school boys, and then they were just using it. Some of the screenshots, faded ones of things. So normally what we used to say, teach your son to respect women. That is needed. We are badly in need of that, right? Quite a good number of violences occurring against women and children across the globe and in India, right? But when it comes to social media or internet, teach your child to respect everyone is going to be the common code which we have here. Okay, so we are at the top. We have seen like what is social media, how addiction comes in, what are the factors influencing on all these things. Whatever it takes, we need to stop it, right? So prevention is better than cure. First thing we say, hey, like something happened, something is going to happen. As you said, like I don't have an Instagram account, I just closed my Facebook account, I have my accounts private. That is well and good. Prevention is better than cure. But second part, it is better to be late than never. That's what we regularly emphasize. If something happens, say it to someone, right? Say it to someone, your neighbor, your friends, or we have a list of government portals where you can go and report women related forums where you can just go and report it to them, right? It's better to be late than never. Something happens, it can be a financial fraud, it can be a fake account, something is going wrong, right? That has to be reported, that has to be taken into the notice of the nodal agencies, someone who is capable of reacting and bringing up a change in that. Just not like saying to your friend saying that, hey, my account has been hacked, I lost money, nothing is going to work. You need to say it to them who can respond, who can bring a change in bringing out a solution for them. Then how to identify or protect? Starting from small things, stopping unwanted notifications. When you go to your Android settings, we can just disable the notifications of 10 number of accounts, starting from Instagram, Facebook, and on. Some SMS notification, some notification from your commercial apps or company apps or that things that can be enabled. Because whenever a notification comes, we hear a beep sound, right? We tend to click it and open it and see. If it is a negative message or something is not good, that is just going to bring in a negative impact. Dopamine is going to just drop down and it's going to affect your production. Whatever you're working, you stop it and your mind changes. Time limit, as I said, we can have time limit for any of the gadgets like mobiles, tablets, app based and on. And emojis, we have seen some similar cases related to this. You see here, there are traditional smileys available in your native apps. Let's take Instagram or WhatsApp. Some emojis. We talk about WhatsApp. There's an emoji available, a list of emojis available. What we do, there will be a third-party emoji application which can claims that, hey, I can convert your photo into a good-looking emoji. When you go and see on the permissions of the emoji might have taken A to Z permission, starting from camera, mic, SD card, your contacts, right? All of your things, it might have taken A to Z permission. Just like that, you're not unlocking the phone and giving it to them. They're capable of doing anything and everything. Let's say like you take the mobile to different places around the clock, say one day. If you know like 24/7, the video is recorded, the voice is recorded in both front and back camera. We'll be cautious, right? We don't take mobile to some places where we go, right? So these sort of apps are capable of doing those sort of abusive stuffs, right? Tracking how much we do surf on the internet, surf on social medias. It's not only for kids, not only for individuals, it's needed for everyone. Very few, like less than 1% of the people, those who are on the top level management, productive, they just don't touch the gadgets. I know many of my friends started using iPhone, leaving Android, saying that, hey, I want to come out of social media. I don't want to edit any apps. I just want to hear a notification and have a call and close the conversation. How to monitor, right? Setting up parental control. Google Gmail accounts have parental control. You can have a parent account who is controlling the kids' Gmail account and their corresponding gadgets. Fine. Daily quota on the browser, something like this can be set. Currently, there are some AI tools. You see here the browsing habits, surfing habits of a kid. Facebook.com, Google.com, Transport.to, Boost.com. It clearly says like 14% of the video that have been played in this kid's mobile is not suitable for the kid. Typically, it's going to be an 18+ video. And you know, like when we just pluck a mobile from a kid, they tend to take it back and use it, right? So these sort of apps might just reduce it, right? When we just put some blocking in the background, right? Whenever these sort of videos start playing, it will just say like it is loading, giving them a psychological effect, saying that they tend to just gradually reduce it and stop it. It's not abruptly plugging the mobile and stopping it. It won't work. And putting on time for internet usage. And there are many tools like this. And I throw a disclaimer here. These sort of tools are mostly used as parental monitoring tool, right? Which is used for parents to monitor their own kids. It's not bound to use it on any of the adults, right? If you're using it on any of the 18+, it becomes a spy across the globe. It's going to be an offense. You see the features of child monitoring, starting from knowing their text, knowing their location. There is something called the geofencing feature. What does it say? We know the geofencing, that 30-60 kilometers, which the kid used to go to school and come back, right? If they have a gadget, right? If it is enabled with the geofencing feature, if the kid goes out of the 60-kilometer range, it will give an alert. It give a call or SMS or some sort of notification to the parents. Nowadays, we see like in many of the school vehicles, these sort of tracking apps has been installed and the access has been given to the parents in their mobile devices. And you see most of the common tools available in the US. Most common is NetNanny. They use it for parental monitoring. And we are talking about something called detox, digital detox. In traditional terms, right? In Vedic terms of Indian origin, we talk about upavasam, right? Not drinking something for a day, not eating anything for one day. Nowadays, we need to just practice something called digital detox, a period of time when a person voluntarily refrains from using digital device. Someone should not plug it and put it in a box and keep it. Let's say like every day while going for dinner with family, let's say all of them to put a mobile in a space and come and eat. We know, right? Having a mobile in this hand and eating it. They don't know puri or idli or chutney, whatever is going, they eat it and they go away. Even if someone eats like that, the food doesn't get into the body that way. Right? So digital detox, badly in need of that, right? Putting a mobile device off and keeping it, that's well and good. I know many of my senior professionals, right? Working professionals, Saturdays and Sundays, or even at least Sundays, they turn off their mobile devices. Second thing is exit. As someone was mentioning, right? Hey, I came out of Instagram. I closed my Facebook account. If you are in need of that, if you feel like you are just being addicted, very well, you can just quit and come out. Digital detox. You see here, like there are some surveys in saying that Delhi, there is something called as an oxygen bar. You can go sit in and just have a fresh air for like pay 300, get some fresh air for 1 hour or 2 hours. A similar one you see here, like very old one. This is like 2018 screenshot. There is something called as a shut clinic in Bangalore. This professional, right? He says like, hey, when you go to him, he say like, hey, like he'll be monitoring, just like we monitor your health statistics for common cold, cough. He'll be monitoring your digital statistics and giving you a recommendation. Don't use this app, disable this notification, right? Close the app for a while, right? Something like that is trending now. And I'm just listing a very few apps that are available in Play Store, right? And whenever you're installing any app, make sure there are some ads. If you're getting an app for free without paying, there should be ads which might be monitoring something, right? So Social Fever, Space, App Detox, Digital Detox, there are n number of apps which you can officially get it from your official Play Store or Apple Store and install it and start monitoring your statistics. You install today and check for 1 week. It will say, hey, every day or 1.5 hours you are using your mobile. Out of that, 45 minutes is on YouTube. Then you can just individually for yourself, you can say like how you can just reduce the usage of YouTube on them. So reaching the top, starting from what is social media, what is social shelf, from 10%, we have come out somewhere around 90%. All these sort of positive and negative impacts of social media on individuals. We'll see what is going to be the next, right? We made it now, but success. You see here. Finally, the fourth ape is here. Sees nobody, hears nobody, speaks nobody. I'm seeing this like when I just go to bigger cities, right? When I say get into the metro trains, seeing left side, right side, everyone will be having a mobile in hand. Very few, 1 in 1,000 will have a book in hand, right? So the fourth ape is most common across the globe. Fine. So we are talking about social media addictions, right? So basic thing, recommendations from our side is typically keep your profiles private, enable two-factor authentication, regularly monitoring your social presence or your family member's social presence, and OTP, don't give it to anyone. Don't click on the links, verify it and keep it. Fine. So that is one of the things. We'll just jump out to some predictions, right? What will happen after 5 years or 10 years? You see, like before 20 years, we never get to know like everyone will be having a mobile. In our family and all, like 4 or 5 families used to stay together. Only the elder person will have a mobile. That older button cell in somewhere around 2000 or 2005. Now we see like even a kid, like 1 year, 2 year kid is having their own gadgets, mobile, tablet, and all. What will be there in 2030 or even greater on 2040? We are talking about artificial intelligence. We are talking about virtual reality. What's the influence of this artificial intelligence and virtual reality? We'll see one example. There is something called as Harmony 2.0. You can just go search for that. That's typically a robotic making company. They have made a robot, fine, something which looks like this. I have a short clip. Let me just, yeah. You see this robotic company, what they say is like, so they have a robot, right, which you can buy it and then keep it in your home, or you can just give each one is in your home is going to have a robot. It's going to communicate with you via your app, right? So that app is going to say like your moods and emotions, what you can have on tomorrow, right? When you wake up, it will just clearly say what's again, like you might have seen in movies, right? Taking a red blue chip and putting on a red chip, if something like that, this can be done, right? The robot is going to just completely leak your personal identity, right? It can say your health statistics, it can say your emotions, even it can tend you to do something offensive, right? So these sort of technologies are trending, right? And it's on. As I said, like we cannot go back. We cannot say like to our kids, I'm not going to get you a mobile, I'm not going to get you internet, right? Everything should be controlled, limited. Good reasons to put down your mobile. More free time, better sleep, increased productivity, decreased anxiety, less comparing with others, saying that he got this, I got this, right? Personal growth, enhanced awareness. All these things are like if you give me like 100 reasons to use a gadget for some sort of abusive reasons, I'll give you some 1,000 reasons to stop using it. So what we have covered today in this short span of time, we have seen the bird's eye view of social media addiction. Normally we'll just put it as de-addiction, right? So we don't want someone to get addicted. If someone is addicted, we want to bring them out, right? So you see an eagle looking at a broad space, right? We don't know what the eagle is looking at. It might having a prey, right? It might be looking at something else. So today we have seen what is social media, what are the effects of social media, how it happens, a sample case in which we saw the Sari challenge, right? And it's up to you, like you, whatever you're going to take home today. So you are going to put it for yourself, self-evaluate. You are going to put it for your kids and family, well and good. You are going to spread it for your community, right? That's even more advanced. So you see here at the top, before we end the session, if you are seeing this for the first time, you might feel it a bit hard to read. Something is on the first 2 lines. Sharing is security, happy sharing. So this is how passwords are to be, right? So typically having a strong password, right? We might have separate sessions on password security, password audits, and having a strong password. Remembering passwords, matter of fact, it's going to be pretty tough. I have like 100 Google accounts. For some R&Ds, we created it. Still, I remembered all 100 passwords. I don't write it and keep it anywhere, right? And I'm not a techie person. I'm not a brainy person, right? I just struggled a lot to clear n number of max papers, right? But there are ways in which how to create a passphrase and remember them, right? Yeah. Okay, this is all about us. You can just know about me, giving my full name, Ashok Kumar Mohan or akmohan.in. Also, you can just get to know about anything related to cyber, right? So we do all these things on a registered basis. We are a private limited registered startup. So we just handle and we just support individuals for solving cases. So we just take only official things. We don't monitor anyone. We don't track anyone. We don't do any of the offensive stuff. Anything on genuine reasons, if you want to get in touch with us, you can just get in touch with our company number. If someone might have just get to know about these numbers, those who are at least in this forum, everyone knows 1930 is the Indian government toll-free numbers for reporting cybercrime. So at Kriyavan, we have got this 10-digit telephone number 97 1930 1930. Just it's going to be the support number of Kriyavan. Yeah. So this is about Kriyavan. We are a startup in Madurai, Tamil Nadu. And you see at the bottom, cybersecurity is our shared responsibility. And obviously, it's going to be your responsibility to solve these sort of crimes and bring in a good society for everyone. And okay, the feedback form, there's one feedback form for our things. I'll share it with Sir. Later, you can just share it. You can just give some feedback about this training, like in our official page. Okay, with this, I'll just open up to the participants for any questions. You have it regarding today's session. Do you have anything in the chat box or I'm opening the chat box. Yes. Yes, sir. So that's it from my side, sir. Thank you. Thank you all. So if there is any questions, I'm just happy to answer.
Yes, sir. How cyber security? 1 minute, sir.
Yes, sir.
How cyber security work in defense?
Okay, cybersecurity work in defense is you take the defense of any organization or any government agencies, right? So they work on a different dimension. A system is monitoring us, system is watching us. So even like recently, I just tend to give a training for a government agency, right? So they were able to say like clearly say like what I was doing for the past 1 week on social media and on. So when we talk about defense related, right? So those who are even you talk about Indian government or the global government agencies, so everyone knows about what is happening in and around. So I'll give it a simple example. So everyone feels like when we talk about using a private browser, right? It is private. Private browser is something like that. The cookies, passwords, or the URLs are not stored on your local system. Your ISP might know that. Your